It soothes the savage beast. It touches something deep within, something unnamed and private but universal. Music, sweet music. Music touches everyone. We all have our favorites from country to classical. Through the course of our travels and adventures, we've been fortunate to have collected some of the best music from the best musicians this or any other region has to offer. And with each song and every bit of music, there's a memory. I'm Bill Landry with Music Memories on Heartland Tonight.
It's the best of the Heartland Series with Bill Landry on Heartland Tonight.
Tennessee is calling, rolling hills all dressed in green. Hear the heartland calling, like an Appalachian spring. Smoky Mountain night is falling, the heartland's calling me, calling me.
Why do we like certain kinds of music and not others? Louis Armstrong always said, if it sounds good, it is good. But music conjures up memories with it, ideas, what we were doing when we first heard it, what was going on in our lives. You can't help it. With music comes memories. On Heartland Tonight, it's a little string music, some of our favorite music memories with Clyde Davenport. It's Guy Carolan on the dulcimer. At the banjo convention, we paused to hear the great Taj Mahal playing one of his favorites on the banjo. And finally, a simple tale about a fiddler who plays for keeps. But first, the music that Davy Crockett would have listened to on WLOG Log Cabin Radio, if he had one. Clyde Davenport's fiddling is what we all would have heard 150 years ago. That in itself is amazing. Now listen and enjoy the melody as well.
I've tried to play a fiddle rough. I can't do it. I can't make one loud. I can ride the bow all I want to, and it won't come out.
He echoes the smooth and tasteful style of old mountain fiddlers. His collection of tunes date back to when the Appalachians were settled, and for that he's been recognized as a national treasure. Today, Clyde Davenport treats us to more fiddling from a bygone era.
Didn't have to learn to play the fiddle. I just picked it up, fiddle up, and I was 9-year-old and just played it. Tonight, dance.
Although noted for his solo fiddle style, Clyde welcomes company.
Keep somebody to stay right up there with you. Keep good time while I love to play with them. Not so far from Blue Hole Holler, his birthplace near Monticello, Kentucky.
Clyde returns to his solo fiddle roots. In his hands, a treasure of musical history comes alive.
I know nothing about these tunes I play. I know where I got a few of them and don't know where I got the rest of them. And I know this far back, if you get any history of my people, they all played. Mostly fiddles. They all could play a fiddle, and now I'm the only one I know can play.
We'll hear more from the lone fiddler and enjoy the dulcimer and more when Heartland Tonight returns. Some instruments touch us in different ways. Some remind us not only of who we are, but also where we've come from, particularly if it's played by the hands of a master. If you're familiar at all with the Heartland Series, you're familiar with that sound. But you may not know what makes it. It's the hammered dulcimer.
Recognize that one.
Yeah.
Where's that from?
I think it's an old Gaelic tune. Way back to probably Brittany.
Brittany?
Guy Carawan's love of music and folklore brought him to the hammered dulcimer. His son Evan plays the instrument for the Heartland Series.
That's Teabag Blues.
Teabag Blues.
My son Evan taught me that, so it's a little bit of a ragtimey tune.
How does a dulcimer work?
You can either hit the strings by hammering them, or you can pluck them. All I know is I hit the strings and I hear the sound come back. And I don't even know if it's coming through that hole or down here through these cracks in the side. It just sort of comes out of the whole instrument.
Is that the A, B, C chords?
Yeah, here is. If you look at these white marks there, that shows me where do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So there's your scale right there.
If the hammered dulcimer reminds you of the workings in a piano, it should. It's the ancestor of the piano and the harpsichord and goes back to the psaltery of the Bible.
They say way back about 5,000 years ago, it was in Persia and spread out from there, both going into China and India. That's a tune I learned in China.
It seems Scots-Irish in origin, but it could have been brought in by any number of immigrants.
Where and how this came in, I think there were some families way back who did have it, but it died out. You had to look long and hard to find a few places, people who knew how to build it. You know, it can play jigs and reels and hoedowns and waltzes. Here's a funeral march called, like, usually played on the bagpipes, usually like for drones. Scotland. It's called La Caber No More.
Today, the hammered dulcimer is experiencing a renaissance in Appalachian music.
Somebody else can say, I like this because it reminds me of my grandfather who played that, and somebody else may have come here because they didn't get passed on a tradition.
When Clyde Davenport plays his lone fiddle, it's like something from a different era. Its appeal is haunting, universal, and timeless. His fiddle's voice is a ghost from the past. When the fiddle was the only musical instrument on a newfound frontier, people made up a way to play it and give it such a full sound no other instruments were needed. Solo fiddling, born of the isolated mountains, is carried on by Tennessee Cumberland Plateau fiddler Clyde Davenport.
I just play, I call old mountain tunes. I guess some of them did come from England and Scottish and ours.
His music is Tennessee history. Tunes like a favorite played by fiddling Governor Robert Taylor.
Oh, you mean the Wild Goose Chase?
Yeah.
Governor Taylor, that's one of his. I'll play that for you.
To standard tunes, Clyde brings a style that is just about extinct.
But around the turn of the century, they abandoned a style of fiddling that was very beautiful, and eloquent, and rich, and now sounds very exotic. It's a style where the fiddle plays by itself. The strings are tuned so that they complement one another. They're in sympathy with one another.
Now, what's this one called?
Drunken Hiccups. That's the Lorraine song.
So they resonate. When you strike one, the others resonate and vibrate. The bowing is unpredictable. The time signatures can change immediately within a tune. He's reaching over his fiddle to get the bass note and drag his bow across it and make that deep droning sound underneath.
This tune, known as Zolly's Retreat, perhaps was written by a fiddler who witnessed a dreary battle near Clyde's home place in Kentucky. In it, Felix Zollicoffer, who had been a journeyman printer in Knoxville, became the first Confederate general of the Civil War to die.
My daddy played it. My grandpa played it. I think he was in that battle.
This is the log cabin music. This is the sound of the fiddle when people were fighting the Civil War and before the Civil War, and when people first came to the state of Tennessee. More than likely, their tune sounded like this.
It was a beautiful fall day at Cedars of Lebanon State Park. We were there with over 300 of the world's greatest banjo players and musicians generously sharing their talents. Blues great Taj Mahal was there and told us this story and played this simple song for us. It's one of our favorites. Modern bluesman Taj Mahal on a beautiful fall day shares with us how nature inspired a contemporary song out of a traditional instrument.
Using the tradition as the backdrop and actual happenstance in a friend of mine's kitchen. I was sitting up there. She was actually from Louisiana and was cooking up some gumbo in the kitchen, and it was raining that day. It wasn't raining too hard, but hard enough that you could hear the wind just tapping up and hit the window pane, and then it would hit the ground. And so I just kind of put that little song together, you know, about that, and it stayed in there for all these years, you know. Let it rain, baby falling down. Like rain, baby falling down. Soon as it hit my window pane, sure enough hit the ground. I'm gonna Houston, there see my pony run. I'm going to Houston, see my pony run. If I win somebody beer now, I'll sure enough bring you some. I love you, baby, tell the world I do. I love you, baby, tell the world I do. Ain't no woman in 14 counties love me like you do. I love you, baby, tell the world I do. I love you, baby, tell the world I do. Ain't no woman in 14 counties love me like you do. Big bullfrog, set me in the pond. Big bullfrog, set me in the pond. Got a white tie and coattails, got no bitches on. Like rain, baby falling down. Light rain, beer falling down. Soon as it hit my window pane, sure enough hit the ground.
Music carries an emotional punch that words just can't convey. We first heard this story at the Loud and Fiddle Convention. Many years later, with the help of many great musicians from all around here, we had the opportunity to pass it on to you. The Depression's gaunt hand had slapped Henry pretty hard, for Henry Ludlow was desperate. Enough to rise before dawn to make this rugged 14-hour journey. Foolish, the Johnsons called it.
Come go with me.
Too far. Well, Henry, you ain't got to change.
The 30s were bleak times, at least for Henry Ludlow and what little was his in East Tennessee. His daughter had suddenly fallen ill with scarlet fever. The doctor assured him that unless the child received a particular medicine that Henry could not afford, she would not survive the illness. A hard-working sawyer, Henry could play the fiddle now. There just wasn't any money to be had. He thought for a while his prayers had been answered when he first heard of the contest. That's all he wanted, just a chance to play for the life of his daughter. If he made the contest in time, or got out of these mountains at all. He had played before a few neighbors, but never much of a crowd. Here were good players, maybe great ones. Some had full backups, many knew each other. Some played like amateurs, some like angels. Henry knew no one, and no one knew him. was scared, feeling the pressure he was under. Finally, Henry alone, thinking of his daughter, composed himself. His fingers moved across the fingerboard, the bow carving the sweet tune that came from some place deep within him. He played as if possessed by an angel, playing a song no one had heard before, not even Henry.
And the winner is Henry Ludlow.
When the judges selected him the winner, they had no idea of his needs, only the importance of music in his life. They still talk of that sawmill worker who came so far to play that day, for his gift that was exchanged for a life-giving force, and that sweet fiddle music of long ago, played by a simple old fiddler, desperate for the life of his daughter. The part of the fiddler was played by Danny Gammon. Special thanks are in order to all the great musicians who helped with that story. Music is like what Ray Hicks said about stories. It's about cheer up of a feeling. Ray always had a way with words. That's what music is about, of a feeling. See you next week on Heartland Tonight.